Your struggles are not caused by the outside world. They are the echo of ideas you've impressed upon your subconscious. This is why Murphy insisted resistance, judgment, and bitterness do not just weigh you down emotionally, they can manifest as conflict, even illness. That's a shocking reality. Your mind is literally scripting your body and environment. But here's the good news. Shift your thoughts into harmony and your circumstances realign. In this video, you'll see how simple daily practice can change everything around you because you changed everything within you. What if every difficulty you face is not chance, not accident, not unfair treatment by another, but the natural return of seeds you have dropped in thought? That question alone should stop you for a moment. Because if this is so, then every frustration is not punishment from outside, but a harvest from within. And if it is a harvest, then it can be changed by planting new seeds. This is the starting point of Murphy's teaching. The unseen law works without pause. What you sow, you also reap. Sow kindness, it returns as favor. Sow fear, it returns as unrest. Sow harmony, it stands before you as peace. Most people do not see it that way. It's easier to believe that fortune or hardship comes by accident. If you're struck by loss, you say, "They did this to me," or "Life is unfair." But if we hold to that view, we give away the only power we have. We forget that the soil of mind is always receiving our thoughts. Anger, jealousy, complaint. These ideas are seeds too. Once planted, they grow roots and they bear likeness of their kind. Think of resentment. When you hold it in thought, it colors your face, it shapes your words, it leaks out in tone. The other person responds as if you had pushed him. He reflects the mood back to you and the struggle grows thicker. Or think of the mind that circles only on lack. I never have enough. I never get ahead. Soon, every bill looks larger. Every expense feels heavier. What came first, the thought or the struggle? In truth, it's one continuous loop. A simple image makes this plain. Stand before a mirror. Frown, and it frowns back. Smile, and it smiles back. The mirror only reflects. It does not argue. It does not sort right from wrong. It shows simply and exactly what you bring before it. Life behaves in the same way. The outer scene is the mirror glass. The inner attitude is the face leaning over it. Wanting a different image while keeping the same expression is useless. To change the reflection, one must alter the face. Modern study of stress shows the same cycle in another language. A person who rehearses fear or complaint day after day wires the nervous system into heightened alarm. The body holds that tension and resilience drains away. This is not a moral lesson, it is a natural outcome. Keep thinking anxious thought and you train the body to expect it. In other words, the law of sowing and reaping can be traced right down to muscle and nerve. It is not distant, it is intimate. For a moment, notice how this works in daily encounters. Walk into a room with hostility on your tongue and the tone changes at once. People harden. They reply with short words. The conflict deepens before you have explained a thing. Walk in with warmth, with openness, and the tone bends toward ease. No one needed to be instructed to act this way. They simply reflected the state you carried in. That is the mirror law in action. And so, if suffering and discord seem to circle you, the question is not, who did this to me, but what am I planting? There is a way out of the cycle, but it demands a radical shift in attention. Do not water the weed, do not polish the chain. Turn inward to plant new seed. Because when you place your focus on love, harmony, or abundance, those seeds sprout without fail. The law is exact. Sow peace and you will reap peace. Sow fear and you will reap unrest. The soil never fails to multiply what is placed in it. So the real question becomes, how does the seed you plant in thought grow into the field of your outer life? How does your inner focus multiply itself until you live inside of it? Before we go deeper, a quick invitation. If this message is resonating, create your own dream life with our 21-day challenge. For the next 21 days, you'll follow a simple daily practice to plant new seeds: affirmation, visualization, and release. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. Start today and let's build it together. Now, let's see how the subconscious magnifies what you plant. Imagine holding a simple magnifying glass over a page. Letters that once seemed small now rise up larger, bold, undeniable. In the very same way, the subconscious mind sits underneath your conscious thought, magnifying whatever you place before it. It does not question, it does not argue, it simply expands, making what you repeat in thought loom larger in the field of life. You may not have noticed it, but this quiet power works on every image you impress. It is the silent amplifier. You can feed it harmony or bitterness. It will enlarge both. You can feed it gratitude or complaint. It will multiply whichever receives your steady gaze. Like sunlight through that lens, the energy concentrates until it burns with force. See the distinction here. Your conscious mind is like the pen. You choose words, you sketch phrases, you outline intention. But the subconscious is not a small sheet of paper. It is the projector screen stretching across the world you walk through. What is scribbled by the pen is what the projector flashes in long, bright lines on the screen of experience. That means your repeated inner statements become the script played out by life itself. Here is the crucial point. The subconscious does not measure good or bad. It does not sort logic from error. It acts as fertile soil. Plant thorns, the thorns sprout. Plant roses, the roses bloom. The soil never argues with the seed. That explains why repeating anxious thoughts for weeks or years breeds more situations that stir fear. Likewise, a single new affirmation of abundance, impressed daily until it takes root, must send up its green shoots of supply. Consider what happens when someone shifts from a belief of lack into a belief of sufficiency. At first, the old voice says, "I never have enough, I never get ahead." But then the daily practice begins. Statements like, "I am supplied, I am prospered, I am guided." At first, it may feel like empty words, yet in time, the subconscious notes the steady pattern. It begins to adjust outer circumstance in line with inner repetition. Opportunities show up, not by magic trick, but by alignment with a mind trained to notice and accept them. Brain science describes this process too, though in another frame. Rehearse a single action in thought with vivid focus, and the neural pathways involved in that action fire as if the body performed it. That is why athletes train mentally as well as physically. When the subconscious accepts an image of health or success or skill, it reconfigures behavior without struggle. You respond differently, often without knowing why. In other words, what you accept inwardly becomes natural conduct outwardly. Now hear the warning. If the subconscious magnifies both poison and medicine, then dwelling on worry or shame is the surest way to spread worry or shame throughout your days. Most people do not realize they are strengthening the very conditions they dislike by returning to them in thought. That cycle continues until a deliberate new impress is made. So discipline is needed. A gardener does not throw seed wildly and then complain about weeds. He selects, he plants, he cultivates. In the same manner, you must choose the affirmation, respect the repetition, and watch the subconscious carry it out. Your task is not to fix the soil. It will do its part. Your task is to choose the seed. Now say this with me. The subconscious magnifies what I dwell upon. Hold that. Let it be certain, because this is the unbending law. Whatever you give your sustained attention, the subconscious amplifies until it becomes visible. So the question comes forward, if this magnifier always enlarges, how can you place before it only the images and words that lead to peace, supply, and abundance, and not to lack? If you owned a fine violin but failed to tune it, the sound would be coarse, even harsh to the ear. You would never expect sweet music from strings left untouched. In the same way, your mind is an instrument that must be tuned daily. Leave it unattended and it will echo discord. Align it carefully and it will sing in harmony with the life you desire. Joseph Murphy taught that this tuning is not a casual act, but a daily adjustment. You begin by picking the most pressing issue that troubles your heart. Maybe it is fear about supply. Maybe it is confusion over a health concern. Whatever the challenge, do not let the mind drift in complaint or self-defeat. Instead, guide it. Take the problem and begin to tune your thought toward its solution. The obstacle is clear. Most people rehearse the problem. The mind repeats, "This always happens to me. I will fail again. Things never change." That cycle is like a violin string wound too tight. The sound screeches, grates, and jars the ear. Attention locked on the failure only strengthens failure's grasp. You think you are wrestling with the difficulty itself, but you are only reinforcing the discordant note. Now picture another scene. See yourself gently adjusting the strings until they match the perfect pitch. The tones fall into place. They vibrate together until music flows. That is what happens when you turn your thought from fear toward harmony. You adjust the inner frequency and the entire instrument of your being responds. Affirmation is the tuning fork in this process. A short phrase, spoken in the present tense, repeated with calm certainty, cuts through mental clutter. For example, "I am guided by divine wisdom," or "I am supplied in all ways now." Each line is not wishful thinking. It is the strike of a tuning fork against the string of the mind. Sound follows vibration. The subconscious feels the pattern and begins to amplify it. Try this with me now. Take 10 minutes today. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. See the outcome you long for as if it were already present. Imagine the body whole and strong. Picture the doors of opportunity open before you. As you hold that image, repeat your chosen affirmation again and again. Do not strain, do not argue. Let each word fall into the inner ear like a steady rhythm. Murphy shared that again and again, people who persisted in this simple discipline witnessed visible change. The troubled found peace. The anxious found supply. The weak discovered new strength. These were not elaborate rituals. They were consistent adjustments, daily tuning. The change began inside, in thought and statement, and then the outer scene shifted to mirror it. But a question rises. Can repeating a line truly change reality? It sounds too simple. Yet remember, the subconscious is neutral. It accepts impression as command. It magnifies what you feed it, not what you claim to wish for. To say, "I want wealth," is only to declare lack, but to affirm, "I am prospered now," is to present the subconscious with a finished vibration. It hears the music and plays it back into form. The daily practice is not optional if you wish to live in harmony. Just as the violin refuses to play true without tuning, the mind refuses to sing of peace unless adjusted. By choosing your statement, holding your vision, and giving it steady attention, you activate resources hidden within the depths of mind. You invite direction, supply, and healing from the infinite. So know this: the instrument of the mind must be tuned each day through affirmation and vision. That is the way you impress order upon the subconscious. That is the way discord is turned into harmony. But even when tuned, there is a deeper caution we must face. for resistance against people and events will throw the instrument out of tune again. It is here the practice of release becomes vital, for surrender allows life itself to flow unbroken. Why does resistance so often make the burden heavier instead of lighter? You fight, you struggle, you push, expecting relief, but the stress deepens. What you resist often holds tighter. Murphy pointed to this paradox many times. He explained that inner conflict, as well as hostile clashes with others, closes the channel of natural flow. When that current is blocked, the body grows tense, the emotions knot, and even health suffers under the strain. The common assumption is that resistance equals strength. If I oppose hard enough, I will prove myself. I will win. Yet notice what force actually does to the subconscious. It plants the image of battle. It engraves fear, revenge, and bitterness as if they were commands. The subconscious does not filter them out. It simply magnifies what is present. So the attempt at strength becomes weakness. The push for control breeds further loss of control. And the cycle expands until life feels like iron bars around you. Think now of water flowing down a mountain stream. A rock sits in the bed, solid, immovable. The water does not attempt to shove the stone down the hill. It slides smoothly around. It keeps pace. It refuses to be stopped. There is no defeat here, nor strain, but a quiet patience that wins. In time, even the rock wears smooth under the same steady movement. Resistance breaks its own body. Flow remains whole. An individual once carried heavy resentment toward a partner in business. Each day brought fresh conflict. His body grew restless at night, and his chest tightened whenever he thought of it. Finally, he was urged to release the grudge. Step by step, he replaced his inner retort with silent statements of peace. The resentment lifted, his health steadied, and the outer friction also softened. The change did not begin with the partner at all. It began in him, with choosing flow over resistance. Modern insight adds its own witness. Those who practice forgiveness often see reduced stress. Their blood pressure falls, their sleep steadies, their body eases. This is not mystery. Holding anger keeps the body locked in alarm, but letting it go returns the system to balance. What Murphy knew by law is seen in practice. Harmony heals, resistance corrodes. You may ask, how do I do this now, in the very moment of conflict? The question is not, how do I force them to change, but rather, what must I release in me to let harmony flow? That reframe redirects the torch. Instead of shining all attention outward, you hold it inward, tuning your own state until peace replaces tension. This is not weakness. It is the highest exercise of strength. To refuse hatred when hatred calls is courage. To surrender resentment when resentment is just, that is authority. The subconscious registers those impressions. It grows calm under them. It magnifies ease and abundance instead of broadcasting more strife. Try this with me now. The next time you feel a surge of anger, pause. Say silently, I am peace. I let the divine flow through me. In that moment, you step out of resistance. You choose the path of water, not of stone. Notice how the body releases its grip. Notice how the situation begins to lose its poison. The law is exact. Stop feeding the mind disorder, and the reflection you see in others stops being disorderly. Know this truth. You do not need to force life into your mold. Stop trying to change them. Change the inner climate, and the world mirrors it. Release resistance, and the current of life carries you past every stone. Now the path stands clearer. The great law of sowing and reaping, the subconscious as magnifier, the daily practice of tuning thought, and the quiet act of surrender, all point to one destination: abundance waiting to flow through you. Your mind is not a spectator. It is the pen that writes on the field of your life. The subconscious does not argue or weigh evidence. It magnifies. What you rehearse becomes what you recognize. What you honor grows. So begin now. Take 10 quiet minutes today. Sit, breathe, and affirm as if the good you seek were already here. See the mirror return your new expression. Plant one clear seed and let the water of attention feed it daily, simply, faithfully. The violin plays true when tuned. The stream moves past the stone. The harvest matches the seed. Before we close, if this work served you, become a member of the channel. Your support lets us continue crafting deep, practical teachings and guided practices that meet you where you are and help you grow. Now, plant your seed of creation in the comments. Write the one sentence you will impress for the next 21 days and tell us what most modernized your perspective in this video. This is your first act of creation. Place the seed and let life reflect it back.